So is ChatGPT going to make you rich in the stock market? Many of you are excited that you've now got access to the internet. Let's have a look at that. But you shouldn't be so excited. So there it is. That's ChatGPT 4, and you can indeed have browsing. That's web browsing. You can set it up for that, or you can have plugins, including Wolfram Alpha, Web Pilot, AI Ticker Chat, and all of those things which will give you access to the internet and so on. Let's just go back to that browsing. And by the way, in case you don't know, you'd go over here, you'd go into settings, you'd go into beta features, and you'd put in web browsing, and I add in plugins as well. It is ChatGPT 4 Plus. Okay, but I'll tell you why you shouldn't be excited, and why there's a lot of reasons why that excitement shouldn't last. See all that data? Okay, most of that data cannot just simply be found by looking at the internet. In fact, all great fortunes in history, as has been said, I think it was by the Rothschilds, are made on private information. And something like the cash return on capital invested is a very important formula to have in order to forecast prices, and you can't just get that by looking at the internet. Okay, and if you want proof of that, let's look at this. What is the croaky for Microsoft stock? Okay, let's see what happens. Now, you might say, well, I don't believe that cash return on capital invested is important. Well, then you're going against what Deutsche Bank and Goldman Sachs Wealth Management use in order to pick stocks for their wealthiest clients, and they certainly don't share the way in which they use that process publicly. But that formula is available. You can Google it, and soon people will stop saying you can Google it, and they'll start saying you can ChatGPT it. So there it is, working ahead, and it's trying to work out that information. Okay. And it'd be great if it had it, but I suspect, and I'm going to come back to it in a second, I suspect it's certainly not going to be just off the internet be able to get this. Now, there'll come a day when I can use a plugin, put that in there, as I've got other plugins like Whale Wisdom and so on, and I'll be able to get that data and it'll be able to give me that answer. It will happen. That day is not yet. Well, whilst it's doing that, let me just quickly show you something else which is going to blow your socks off. alpeshpatel.com/links. Have a look at my free Telegram channel where I'll update you on what I'm doing with AI, and now that we've got these various plugins, but we've got to be careful how we use them to make sure they're useful, By the way, I'm not in favor of regulation of AI. I say eat away the apples from the knowledge of tree, the tree of knowledge rather than the knowledge of tree, the tree of knowledge, because what could possibly go wrong? Look, it's still doing it, search, and it's still not found. Now, you might be surprised how slow it is. Shall I show you the answer from earlier? This was the answer from earlier. Okay, there it is. What's the croaky for Microsoft? I'm sorry, but I was unable to find the specific cash return on capital for Microsoft as of 2023. This information is typically available. Remember, it's got web access from financial databases or investment research platforms. Yes, but it appears not to be readily accessible in the sources I checked. So there you go. Just because you've got internet access is not suddenly going to make you, well, it's not going to put me, a hedge fund manager, out of business. Please note that financial ratios such as croaky can be calculated using company financial data, and it didn't. But the necessary details such as exact amounts of cash return and capital invested from Microsoft were also not available. You may also want to consult a professional financial advisor, blah, 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 blah. The quality information, the really good information, the information that makes you money, that's going to remain private, my friends, for a long time, because ain't nobody going to be spilling that willy-nilly. What they're going to do is they're going to take all of that information as we do. And even then, if I gave you this database, ultimately you'll turn around and say, you know what, Alpesh, can I just hire you to do it as my plumber, as a, you know, just my dog's body to do it? And that's what will happen. And you'll end up paying people for that service. It's just that those people will be able to do their jobs a bit easier, more easily. And of course, there'll be 10% who will reverse engineer and learn plumbing themselves. But that's only ever been 10%. Do I learn DIY? No, I just pay somebody to do it. And that's what will continue happening. So before we get all overexcited about these things, we're still going to need to put all this data in and understand it. The old saying, and I can't remember if it was Churchill or somebody else, where is the information we have lost in data, and where is the wisdom we have lost in information? And that still holds. It's wisdom you're still going to need. And I'm not saying I'm a wise old man. Well, I'll say I'm a man and old, but hopefully a bit wiser as well. And hopefully now you're a bit wiser as well. Thank you all very much.